And what's up, everybody? This is Francis over here from PlayerEssence.com, and today I'm going to be reviewing Kid Icarus Uprising for the Nintendo 3DS. This was a very particular or strange type of game. I remember being super excited when they showed this off for the Nintendo 3DS. Did it live up to those expectations? Yes and no. But the first thing that I want to talk about is this box that it comes in. It comes in a nice sized box here, but there's really nothing special other than this doohickey thing. It comes with a stand for you to actually put your 3DS on and play the game. That's how confusing the controls can be for some people. I think this was completely unnecessary. This game, the main theme is the controls, and they kind of included this thing to kind of help with the controls. But a simple patch or update to add Pro Controller support would have greatly helped, or not Pro Controller, or more like Circle Pad Pro, there we go, that's what I'm looking for. Circle Pad Pro support would have greatly helped and basically diminished the need to even package that thing with it. But to talk about Kid Icarus Uprising, what is good about the game, what is bad about the game? So let's go into the bad first, then I'll get into the good. So the bad things with the game are the controls. That's the first thing that I want to let everybody know. If you're looking at picking up this game because it's really cheap, it's kind of old, a couple years now, but it's still very good. The controls. The controls, how it operates is that you have two different types of sections. You have flying sections, which actually control well. You use the touch screen and the circle pad to kind of move around. Use the touch screen to kind of tap where you want to shoot, and circle pad to dodge. That actually works well. It's the on-foot sections that you have a problem with. Now, the 3DS does only have one controller, one circle pad on there. Now, Circle Pad Pro, they could have used it, but they didn't. But since you don't have that, it's a full 3D game when you're in the on-foot sections. So the camera control can be an issue. And what I mean by the camera control could be an issue is the different types of control schemes. You can use the stylus to rotate the camera, and some people, that works for them, but having the balance of a combat game, using the stylus to rotate back and forth necessarily isn't ideal for everybody. Now, there's multiple control schemes. You can use the L and R buttons to rotate the cameras. You can do all sorts of stuff, but sometimes, like when there's enemies attacking you from all areas, using those to rotate the cameras can be a little bit imprecise or not as good as just a dual analog game. And probably the control scheme that I best used, or I use the most, would probably be the buttons to control the camera. So like the A, Y, B, X, that's how you control the camera, looking up, down, using the circle pad. That's what worked for me. Not sure if it worked for everybody else, but that's what worked for me in this game. So the controls are a problem, but if you can counteract those controls, Kid Icarus Uprising is one of the finest portable games that I've ever played. It really does a lot of good things. And when you first look at the game, when you first saw it, you wouldn't think it's the type of game that it is. You wouldn't think that it's kind of like this loot collecting and this item gathering and this combining and fusing. And that's really what it is, getting into the gameplay here, the gist of the gameplay. It's really a blend of kind of like, not quite Diablo, but some of those elements blended in with just like a really cool action game. Because what you can do is, as you play through the game, there'll be these chests, and you can grab the chests, and once you get those, there'll be weapons in them, or there'll be items. And the weapons, you can use any weapons that you've got. So there'll be different classes, like there'll be claws, there'll be swords, there'll be cannons, there'll be heavy, light. You can fuse them and mix and match and create basically super weapons, create all sorts of different weapons with different types of stats, and you can bring that into the multiplayer, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But that's actually really cool. But you also can equip different items on Pit to use, so when you're in a pinch, whether it's extra health, or whether that's going to be like a bomb, or any different types of weapons that you can use. So that's pretty cool. The flying sections, like I said, work really well with the controls, and they're actually really, really fun. You're basically dodging enemies, it's like on rails, but you have full movement. You're dodging enemies, you know what I'm saying? You have special powers that you can use to clear out enemies on the screen. You're just trying to basically chain up and link up as many combos as you can, get through that stage. And the graphics when you're going through the flying stages look absolutely phenomenal. It really is a very good looking 3DS game that really takes advantage of the hardware, what's there at least. Now, but like I said, the on-foot sections do kind of drag on, but there are really cool boss battles in the game. There are really cool things, and when you combine that with all the different fusions, and as far as like the weapons go and stuff like that, you really start to get deep into the game. And the game is freaking long. I think there was like over 25 chapters. It took me quite a bit. It just kept on going and going, and there's some really weird parts in there. Even a part where you turn into or you're playing as a dog, or you're like a ring and the dog picks you up. So it's really interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff, and the story and the interaction between the Pit and Palutena and the other characters and the bosses and how they kind of chatter back and forth is actually really entertaining, and the voice acting is done really well. I actually really like that about Kid Icarus Uprising. Also, another thing that I also wanted to mention was the sound quality, and like I said, along with the graphics, the audio, sound quality, replay features, all of that stuff is good. There is so much content. The presentation is so neatly packed in this game. It's really high production, and of course, what would you expect none from Super Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai, who did this? So it's very, very good. I like all the collection stuff that you have. There's plenty of achievements to unlock. There's plenty of different things to do in the game. And like I said, they do have a multiplayer mode, and where you can actually take, play 3-on-3 multiplayer teams, or I think individuals, plus a rankings. Plus, you can also like earn items in that multiplayer mode. So it's actually really cool. And what's different about this multiplayer mode is the better item that you have, like the more points you're worth when you get killed. So that's actually really cool as well. So there's so many good things about this game, but the controls just kind of hold it back. The next thing that I did want to get into was a little bit more of the actual core gameplay, just to kind of finish off on that. And that's basically the difficulty. And that's what I love about this game. This game, you can ratchet that baby all the way up to 9. You don't have to play through the game, then play it again. There's so much replayability and so much content packed in. You can kind of add in your own replayability right then and there, because you can put it on the lowest difficulty on any level, or you can put it on the highest difficulty on any level. It really doesn't matter where you want to go with it. And I also wanted to touch on the story just a little bit. The story it's good. The story in Kid Icarus Uprising is good. I definitely, like I said, I like the interactions between the characters and all that. All of that's good. It really, overall, it's such a gameplay-focused game. The story isn't necessarily such as a big deal. So like I've always said, I don't really like to get into stories too much. Don't want to spoil anything. But it is a good story. There are twists and turns, and you'll definitely like it. Overall, Kid Icarus Uprising is a fantastic game. There's a lot of stuff to do. It's good. It's just held back by its control, which is the main problem. A simple patch to just add Circle Pad Pro support would have been so great. But without that patch, I'm going to have to give Kid Icarus Uprising a 7 out of 10. I think it's a great game, offers a lot of stuff. If there was a patch just to add, to have dual analogs, or dual circle pads, just so you can control the camera, there wasn't so many control issues with the game, then I would definitely bump that up to a 9. But you know what? Without it, it's a 7. There's a lot of good things about it. Like I said, the gameplay is fun, the multiplayer is good, and they're still supporting it to this day. A lot of customization, but the main problem is just basically the controls. There's so much good stuff about it though. It's cheap. I would definitely go out and pick up Kid Icarus Uprising if you haven't already done so. Alright, so that basically wraps it up for my Just Games review on Kid Icarus. If you like this, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. Like the video, tell your friends about it, and make sure you visit playeressence.com for all your news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks. Alright, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.